Basta mo, dirahan baka. Dirahan. Natuma na sa balay, guys. Whatever na mo rescue, baka yan. Gulalul Rio 1, place lang.
In the dark hours before dawn, as the wind howled and the rain slammed against windows, the people of the central Philippines woke to the full force of nature's fury. Typhoon Kalmaegi, locally known as Tino, made landfall around midnight on November 4th, unleashing powerful winds, torrential rain, and massive waves across southern Leyte and nearby provinces. In a matter of hours, homes were submerged, power lines toppled, and families were forced to flee rising floodwaters. For millions across the Visayas region, it was a night they will never forget, a night when survival became the only goal. According to the Philippine weather agency Pagasa, Typhoon Kalmaegi came ashore near the town of Silago in southern Leyte, packing sustained winds of around 130 kilometers per hour and gusts reaching up to 180. Its central pressure was measured at roughly 984 hectopascals, strong enough to uproot trees, rip off roofs, and send storm surges crashing inland. The storm carved its path through central parts of the country, including Samar, Leyte, Cebu, and parts of Bohol, bringing torrential rains that quickly overwhelmed rivers and low-lying areas. Entire neighborhoods were cut off as floodwaters rose to waist level or higher. Roads turned into raging streams, while rescue teams struggled to reach those trapped in their homes. By sunrise, the damage was clear. Kalmaegi had left widespread devastation. Government officials confirmed that hundreds of communities across the central Philippines were affected. At least 26 people were reported dead, though that number is expected to rise as authorities continue rescue operations in remote areas. More than 387,000 residents were forced to evacuate from coastal towns and flood-prone zones, seeking shelter in schools, churches, and government buildings. Airports suspended flights, ferry operations were halted, and dozens of roads became impassable. For many, the storm came too quickly to prepare. Residents in the path of the typhoon described terrifying scenes. Roofs torn away in seconds, walls collapsing under the force of the wind, and families clinging to whatever shelter they could find.
Wala, manok. Burot ng manok ron. Ano?
Dito siya mukhahin na yung tubig. Dako kayo, Lai?
Oo, dako kayo. Piklay. Oh, sus, day natumba. Murag na anay tawo, no? Kinang nagsiga, manggod siya, no? Kanak ba kaluoy ba anang ban? Uy.
In the city of Ormoc, a father described watching the floodwaters rise through his home in the middle of the night. He managed to carry his 2 young children to the second floor, just moments before the water reached the ceiling of their living room. "Everything we owned is gone," he said, "but we are alive, and that is what matters." Elsewhere in Southern Leyte, rescue teams used inflatable boats to reach families stranded on rooftops after the river overflowed its banks. Video shared online showed residents waving flashlights through the darkness, signaling for help as water surrounded their homes. Local officials praised the courage of volunteers who braved the storm to help neighbors escape. "We are overwhelmed, but we are not giving up," one rescue worker said. "Every life we can save makes it worth it." The Philippine government immediately activated its national disaster response teams. The military and Coast Guard deployed personnel, helicopters, and rescue boats to the hardest-hit provinces. The Department of Social Welfare began distributing food packs, water, and temporary shelter materials to evacuees. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. expressed condolences to the families who lost loved ones and urged affected communities to remain alert for further flooding and landslides. Authorities warned that even as the winds weaken, the danger is far from over. Swollen rivers and saturated soil could still trigger deadly landslides in the coming days. Meanwhile, energy companies reported extensive power outages across several islands. Repair crews are working around the clock to restore electricity, but officials say it may take days before full service returns in remote areas. Meteorologists say Typhoon Kalmaegi continues to move west-northwest across the Sulu Sea, heading toward Palawan and potentially into the South China Sea later this week. While the storm may slightly weaken over land, it could regain strength once it re-enters open water due to warm sea surface temperatures. Forecast models show that Kalmaegi may bring more heavy rain and strong winds to western parts of the Philippines, before gradually moving towards southern Vietnam or the Malay Peninsula. Coastal residents in these regions are advised to monitor updates closely, as shifting wind patterns could change the storm's path. Even after the storm passes, lingering monsoon rains and storm surges are expected to continue threatening communities for several more days. Kalmaegi's arrival has once again exposed the vulnerability of many Filipino communities to extreme weather events. With sea levels rising and weather patterns becoming more unpredictable, experts say stronger typhoons could become more frequent in the years to come.
Oh my God!
The Philippines is hit by an average of 20 tropical storms each year, but climate scientists warn that warming oceans are increasing both their intensity and rainfall potential. For many families who have faced storm after storm, rebuilding is not just about fixing houses, it's about finding the strength to start over again and again. Still, amidst the destruction, the Filipino spirit of bayanihan, or community solidarity, shines through. From volunteers handing out food to neighbors clearing debris, every act of kindness becomes a reminder that even in the face of nature's worst, compassion endures. As Typhoon Kalmaegi continues its path across the region, thousands remain in shelters, waiting for the waters to recede and the skies to clear. The days ahead will bring challenges, restoring power, rebuilding homes, and comforting those who've lost everything. But there's also resilience. Time and again, the people of the Philippines have shown that they can rise after every storm, stronger and more united. Still, this tragedy serves as a powerful reminder of how vital preparedness, infrastructure resilience, and climate awareness truly are. If you're watching from afar, consider supporting trusted relief organizations helping those affected by Typhoon Kalmaegi. And wherever you live, remember, every action toward reducing climate risks and protecting our environment matters. Because storms like Kalmaegi remind us that nature has immense power. But humanity's greatest strength lies in how we care for one another.